Peace to all of the kings and queens that's out there. This is your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher, and we are BACKAGAIN on another mournful Monday here in Chicago. Sad. However, before I get to Chicago, I want to discuss some other things or bring some things to light. Like, for one, with all of this racial hate, white supremacy, white people now are setting black people on fire. Did you hear what I said? White people are not only hanging black people, but they are setting them on fire. A couple of days ago, Althea Bernstein, 18 years old, lives in Madison, Wisconsin. She is a Oreo, half black, half white, but you know that she's black. You can't hide those original genes. You just can't. So anyway, she stopped at a stoplight in her vehicle, had her driver's window down because it's summertime, getting some air in her vehicle. 4 white men approached her, called her nigger, threw some lighter fluid on her, and set her on fire in her car. Fortunately, Althea Bernstein was going to school to be a paramedic. And with what she've learned, she said it helped her to calm down and do what she needed to do to put the fire out. But she was on fire, set on fire by white men, suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns. Madison, Wisconsin. Crazy out here. It's crazy out here, and it's going to get worse. You all haven't seen me for a couple of days, but that's because I've been taking a break and I've been reading other material like astrology. I've been studying astrology and, of course, reviewing material from the master teachers. But anyway, back to this racial hate that we have here in America. The girl was burned up by 4 white guys in Madison, Wisconsin. And then I look at one ad that I saw on a billboard, driving on a billboard, $60,000 to $70,000 to become a correctional officer in upstate Minnesota by Duluth. $60,000 to $70,000 for correctional officers in upstate Minnesota by Duluth. The police are leaving the police force. Many of them in Milwaukee are leaving the job, just as they have been walking off the job across the country because they are being instructed to do harm and to arrest, stop young black men and women from the ages of 18 through 25. No exceptions. Harass them, arrest them. We will figure this out later. Now, this is not something that I'm just telling you. I know police. And those of you who know me know I know police. And last year I went back and told you about the people that I hang with, the people that I surround myself with. I told you that in the video that I made last year entitled Squad Up. So if you want to know who Mo hangs around, go to that video entitled Squad Up that I made last year on this channel, The Mo Show Chicago. So I'm getting this information from the police themselves. I'm not pulling this information out of the air. And then I can go on further to say that there has been information across the internet with police officers getting instructions from their commander to tell them to do terrible things to young black men and women. Terrible things. You see, how could you live with yourself, live with anybody? You see, now we're going to get to this top cop in Chicago later. I'm really getting to that. But this is what's going on. This is what's going on. White people burning up black people. Look how much you make for a correctional officer, 60 to 70,000. These policemen getting instructions from their commander to do harm to black men and black women. And they're going to leave those jobs and get correctional officer jobs and make just as much, almost double than what they make right now. There's a plan to keep us rated. There is a plan to destroy us. And for those of us who they don't kill, they plan to incarcerate us and place us in FEMA camps. Now, if you think I'm lying, I made another video on another channel called MOPOWERZ, Mo Powers. And I spoke about in that video, which is entitled Pence and FEMA Camps. If you haven't checked out that video on Mo Powers, MOPOWERZ, entitled Mike Pence and FEMA Camps, I highly recommend that you watch that video. And by the way, anytime during this presentation that I'm talking to you, you can press that subscribe button. It don't cost 1 penny. It don't cost you a dime. Press that subscribe button. I appreciate that, family. Now, with all of this going on, and they keep talking about all of this police reform, did you latest news about the police officers in Wilmington, North Carolina? These 3 police officers, whose name is Kevin Piner, the other one name is Jesse Moore, and the other one, I forgot his name, but he was unavailable for question. But it was 3 of them, and in a random audio check from body cams, they recorded, they discovered that Officer Piner had been telling Jesse Moore, the other officer, that a civil war is coming and he is ready. And he is going to buy a new assault rifle. And we're just going to go out and start slaughtering them fucking niggers. And I quote that. Those are his exact words. And he went on further to say that a civil war is needed to wipe them off the fucking map. By doing this, it will place them back 4 to 5 generations. These are the police. These are the police. Officer Jesse Moore said that he arrested a nigger woman and that a bullet should have been put in her head right then. Quote. These are the people that you trust your public safety with. But I want to quote the words of Mayor Lightfoot, who said that you cannot trust law enforcement for public safety. She's not lying. She's not lying. And she's the mayor of Chicago, and even her own top cop, which means she's talking about them too, because it is too many incidents, too many deaths, too many so-called justified killings, justified brutality by the police all over the country. And people are tired of that. Donnie Williams, who is the new police chief in Wilmington, North Carolina, fired these 3 policemen and recommended that they do not receive a job in any other law enforcement position. These are the type of police that we're dealing with. More footage is coming forward. Just like the young brother in Colorado, Elijah, I want to say Elijah McComb. Look what happened to that brother in Colorado. They stopped him for walking down the street with a mask. And this was last year. They didn't get fired. They actually brutalized that young man. And then when the paramedics came after they brutalized him, and he was unarmed, and he knew that they were going to rough him up. He knew that. Energy don't lie. And the evil of law enforcement does not lie. This has been their record. I'm not just pulling things out of air here. It's actual facts. So the next time you look at a police officer, I want you to think, especially if he's white, I want you to think about how they want to set you back 4 to 5 generations. Think about how they want to snatch your life away from you. Sometimes your own mechanism that's encoded in your own body tells you what? Sometimes you got to flight, you got to flee to run, to live, if you can. It's sad that we have to live in a world where law enforcement can kill you and get away with it, even after all of the court proceedings. But what's even worse than that is the Chicago killings that have been taking place. 16 dead, 47 injured over the weekend. Over the weekend. That is sad. That is sad. On Father's Day, over that weekend, what was it, 114 shootings and how many dead? Not to mention, not only was these adults that were victims of the shootings, we're killing kids now. We're killing babies. You have the 1-year-old baby who can't even go to the laundromat with his mama to wash some dirty clothes because somebody that looks black like her and her, or her and him, killed them. They drove up on the side of that car, on the driver's side, on the passenger side of the car, after the mother, who was a 22-year-old black woman, was driving home from the laundromat, and a car approached the side of her driver's side and started shooting. And according to the top cop of Chicago, Fred Waller, says that this was intentional. There were 7 to 8 shots. Who is this here? Yucaba Bandil, your generation failed us. This is why we're lost. It's too late now for peace. You know what? I'm glad that you're in the chat room, and I'm glad that you said that, because last year I made a video entitled that we failed them. Now you can go back and find a video that's entitled on this channel, We Have Failed Them. I did a video on that. You're right. You are absolutely right. Whomever you are, I understand that you're angry because nothing has been left to you. Every nation of a people are leaving their children something. Black people have nothing to leave their children, always struggling every day. And why is that? Not because of white supremacy. It is because black people can't seem to get their act together to generate some income. They act as if that they need other people to provide basic life needs, life necessities. Black people act as if they can't open a store in the neighborhood like everyone else has. In fact, growing up on the west side of Chicago, right there on Walton and Lamont, okay? And if anybody out there that's from Chicago and you're watching, which I know that you are, you remember that store, which was owned by a Puerto Rican by the name of Ralph. And we were children back then. We're talking about 1970s, okay? If you want to go down there on Augusta and Laverne, you had an Arab dude by the name of Phil. And if you wanted good pickles, that's where you used to go, to Phil's store over there on Augusta and Laverne, which is 2 blocks away from Walton and Lamont. In fact, a lot of things happen on Walton and Lamont. One day I'll let you all into that. That's sort of personal. But I'll let you all into the life of Walton and Lamont one day. That's real. What you say, wise thinkers speak, brother. I mean, I give you generation. I understand your generation being upset. I do. And we did fail you. We did fail you. And you know what? The same message that I'm talking to you about right now, I spoke this same message 20 years ago. 20 years ago, I'm speaking the same message, just wasn't on YouTube. In fact, you young people help the situation to become worse. Now, if you are lost, which you say, and what's your name, brother? Yakuba Bandel, you say that it's our fault that you are lost. You are absolutely right. But when you have individuals like myself who come to you and speak truth to you, do you want to hear it? No. You would rather listen to the demonic music, which continues to further enhance, not enhance, but enhance your development. In fact, the very demonic music that you're listening to right now will have you to kill your parents. I'm not lying. You know I'm not lying. They even got the dances, the demonic dancers. They have it all in videos. The whole industry is full of demonic entities. I'm sorry. I'm sorry that we failed you, young man. But for those of us who are trying to do it right, I've been doing this for 20 years. I had my own kids to raise, and they're what, 33 and 34 now? And even my children did not listen to me because they made some mistakes, like we're all gonna make. However, they didn't have to make those mistakes that they made. Some of those mistakes that they made, they didn't have to make. They were already made for them. But needless to say, we failed you. And for those voices that are out there reaching young black men or trying to reach young black men and women, like I said, you all pull guns on me and tell me to get on and tell me to get the fuck on. That's what you tell me. You pull a gun on me, but I'm trying to save your life. I'm trying to keep you out of prison, but you want to pull a gun on me. I'm trying to keep the police from bothering you. You want to pull a gun on me. I'm trying to give you some information that will enhance your life for the rest of your life, but you want to pull a gun on me. How do you answer that, young man? What you say, we need more elders like you to step up, keep the good work, King. I appreciate that, brother. I would appreciate that. And who's this wise thinker? You should have more, brother, listening to. Hey, man, people listen, people don't. And sometimes people listen and don't say nothing. Sometimes they disable my chat. Whatever they do, man. I'm just glad that someone is in the chat room today. I'm glad that someone is in the chat room today. Like I said, 16 dead, 47 injured over the weekend, and those are including babies. One in Inglewood. You got another one on 6600 South Woods in Chicago South Side. Okay, you got one in the Austin neighborhood. Okay, then you got the other one that took place in Logan Square, right here on Kimball and Dickens. That's right, on Kimball and Dickens. 10-year-old girl. Kids can't even be safe in their house because beast in human form, beast in human form is roaming the street, shooting up one another and shooting the wrong people. They don't even have the nuts to get out of the vehicle or get off of a bike or come from out of a bush or whatever they do to reach these people that they make victims. They do not have nuts enough to face them face to face, walk up to them and pull the trigger. They want to be a coward and then shoot everybody else that's not involved, including kids. Now, martial law is coming to Chicago. Martial law is coming to Chicago. You scream about Black Lives Matter, even though I know that that's a gay movement, George Soros, Antifa, etc., etc., etc. We already know that. However, if Black Lives matter to you so much, we're not talking about the transgender Black Lives Matter. We're talking about real Black lives, all Black lives, not gay people, not gay Black men, not the Black Lives Matter that was funded by a white man who want to see Black people gay. We're not talking about that. We're talking about the Black lives that the Civil War was based upon. Because Black lives did matter in Civil War. White people went to war for the lives of Black people here in America. Not to mention the fact that America was ours anyway. But that's a whole nother history lesson. Anytime during this presentation, by all means, press the subscribe button. It doesn't cost you one red penny. Appreciate that, family. You can't go to the laundromat. You can't go to the store. You can't get on the public transportation. You can't be in your own personal vehicle driving. You can't even be in your own home watching TV, feeling safe. You can't even feel safe. It's a war zone. Black Lives Matter. Why are you still selling crack to yourself? Black Lives Matter. Why are you still selling heroin to your own people? Black Lives Matter, why are you selling Molly's, ecstasy, K2, and all of these drugs that is killing black people? Does Black lives really matter? If Black Lives Matter, why are you shooting one another? If Black Lives Matter, why are you killing babies? If Black Lives Matter, but you get mad, you want to protest when the police kills you, but you're not concerned, you don't have common sense enough to have concern about your own self killing yourself. You drug dealers out there, and I know a lot of them. Some of them are own family members, first cousin, second cousin, best of, for all you drug sellers out there. Sadly and unfortunately, you knowingly are committing genocide among your own people. You are killing the future of black people. You are killing the future of black people. Now, for those of you who don't have children and you sell drugs, well, I know that you probably don't even understand what I'm saying, but you got nieces, you got nephews, and they have children. Versus teaching how to sell drugs, how to rob somebody, how to kill somebody and get away with it. How about we teach them about money? About money, which they never teach you about in public education system. They never teach you about money while you're growing up in these public institutions of America. Never. Why? Because money is what rules the world. But that's a whole nother lesson. That's a whole nother lesson. But getting back to the killing, 152 unsolved murder in Chicago. The books have been closed on those murders. 152 unsolved murders. You tired of killing one another? The killing has got to stop. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. You have the other two teenagers that was in the store buying candy. They asked this 19-year-old who was also in the store, he had some height on himself. And they being shorties, shorter than what he was, asked the young man, how tall are you? The next thing you know, the two teenagers leave out of the store after they done brought their candy, and the guy whom they asked how tall he was opened fire on them, shot them both in the back, one in the leg, hand, and shoulder, dead. 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 For what? We have become our own worst nightmare. We've had some help with this thinking of ours. We've had some help, but with people whom you know that teaches you right, you don't want to listen because you've been programmed to do wrong. So right seems wrong to you. Right seems wrong to you. And if I was a psychologist, I would say that we as black people who want to continue to kill ourselves, we have a mental disorder. When was the last time you checked and saw the shootings that occurred in white communities? When was the last time you heard of a shooting that took place in the Asian community here in America? Last time you heard of a shooting of any kind other than the Hispanic area, which is the Logan Square area. I'm quite sure that those culprits were Hispanic and not black over there in Logan Square. They hang in Logan Square. Still hang over there, right on Spalding. A couple of blocks down. Spalding is right off Kimball, and Wrightwood is not too far from Dickens Street. Oh yeah, we had lots of times over there. But yeah, but all of these other murders have taken place in predominantly black areas. We have been conditioned. We have been conditioned through slavery, through education, through media to dislike yourself. You have been taught to kill yourself. Even the music that you listen to. Anybody listen to some white people music lately? And I have to say that, you know, because there's a difference here. I haven't heard, I have never heard of rock and roll, besides the hardcore rock and roll, you know, telling you to go kill you, go shoot up your neighbor, go kill your mama. I haven't heard that. Now, you got some rock and rollers who are into Satanism, because as I stated, the whole industry is Satanism, demonic entities. But my point is this: they don't kill each other. They don't kill each other. They don't kill each other. They don't shoot each other. They don't let the police kill them unjustly. You know why? Because they do this. And they got this. And we, as black people in Chicago, have this, but we don't have this. Obviously, we can't even get a store in the community. I'm just saying. Can't even get a store in the community. The killing has got to stop. Stop the killing. These children that you have born, that we have born, collectively have become children of wrath. In fact, the master teachers say that this is our best generation, but they have no guidance. They're looking for guidance. And we, the elders, who are supposed to be elders, are not giving it to them, because some of those elders are old fools. And in order to be an old fool, you have had to have been a young fool. So some people just don't get it. But for those of us who do get it, and that spark of truth arises from within, and we speak to you, why do you want to kill us? You've been programmed to kill yourself. You've been programmed to not like yourself. You have post-traumatic slavery disorder, PTSD, post-traumatic slavery disorder. Even during slavery, they had boxing matches against the black men for their entertainment. And what do you have today? Black men still boxing, killing themselves for entertainment and for money. You may not think straight again, but you'll do it for the money. You can have your neck broke, but you'll do it for the money. In fact, I saw an image of an alligator with about 5 stacks in his mouth. And under that image, it says, do you think that you can get away with the money? Everything that looks good ain't good for you. I was just in a situation like that. The same with that alligator. My 2 nephews know what I'm talking about. So it made me think about that, nephews. But anyway, killing yourself, you're doing a far better job than law enforcement is. What are you killing yourself over? Drug territory? Drug territory is a gold mine. And people will kill over that gold mine. Sadly, as I stated earlier, you are committing genocide. Consequently, you're killing your own people. You don't care what's in the dope. You don't care what's in the crack. You don't care what's in the ecstasies and mollies. You don't care about that. You don't care about selling them rat poison. Hey, I remember back in the 90s, okay, when crack was huge, because I was out there selling drugs. I'm just being real. That's why I can talk about this. I used to be out there selling drugs. However, I wouldn't sell you rat poison. I would not sell you rat poison. I'm not going to sell you anything to kill you. I may have whooped you at one time or another. Me and Ron did a lot of whooping one night. I may have whooped you one night, but I didn't sell you nothing that's going to kill you. Rat poison. There's no loyalty in the game anymore. There's no code to the streets because of the drugs. The drugs has got to go. Drugs killed little Archie. You know who little Archie is? Drugs killed Shorty Mac. Because if it wasn't for the drugs, Shorty Mac wouldn't have been out there anyway. On Cicero, Chicago. Y'all know Shorty Mac. I've seen the Magnet family destroyed on Lamont and Walton, destroyed because of drugs. I've seen my family destroyed because of drugs. Cousins. Drugs, gangs, lack of education, prisons. Not just one, some continue to go back. And if you are out there selling drugs today, I'm not talking about your little reefer. I'm not talking about your little reefer. But if you're out there selling drugs, you're supposed to go to jail. You're supposed to go to jail. Even if the police don't catch you, you're supposed to go to jail because you're killing your own people. You're killing them. You're worse than the white man. In fact, you're just like the white man because, no, you're worse than the white man because you're selling the white man's poison to your own people, killing them, taking their money that they have, making them junkies, tearing families apart, making children foster kids, and you sit there and get rich and don't give nothing back at all, except for a bag. You'll give a person a bag here and a bag there. Or if you're opening up a new tip, you may give a few bags away for free just to get the tip jumping. Yeah, did that, done that. And then you got Joe Blow over here who ain't got no money and who don't have no sense either. In fact, have less sense than you. He gets to work for you, sell your product, and he can go to jail. You cannot get him out, but that's the chances he take. That's the game. But you see what I'm getting to? If you don't remove the drugs, nothing will change. Black Lives Matter, but you're still prostituting yourself for drugs. Black Lives Matter, but like I say, you're killing babies. Black Lives Matter, but you're destroying families. You're making mothers mourn every day. Every day. White people of America call us savages. Just like they call the Indians savages. And what did they do to the Indians? The Constitution doesn't save you because there is no Constitution. In fact, if there was such a Constitution, this world, this America, excuse me, not world, but this America would not be in the condition that it's in. But see, it's deeper than that because everything that's happening here is happening over in London. Everything that's happening here is happening over in Paris. Everything that's happening here is happening in the Caribbean. Everything that's happening here is happening over in Al Kubalan, aka Africa. Everything that's happening here is happening over in China, in Afghanistan, Turkey, Ireland, Scotland. Where there's Black people, the same treatment from Europeans is the same worldwide toward us, and our actions toward ourselves is the same across the globe. Stop me when I'm lying. You think life is so much better elsewhere in another country. Let me remind you of something. This country, which is the Black people's country, when you want to get technical and historically right, this is the Black people's land. And this country has been turned upside down by the administration who runs it. But however, this is still a great country. This country is so great that at one point I was a soldier. did well, honorably discharged. Now, when they bring this martial law in, speaking of military soldiers, it won't be the U.S. soldiers. It's going to be UN soldiers. Elijah Muhammad told you this in the message to the black man, that they're going to bring in UN. That's right. That's where I first heard that from, in the 90s. So all of you YouTubers who talk about you bringing new information forward, you should start giving credit to the teachers who actually said those words in which you speak. Other than that, you're doing a little plagiarism, which we all do at one point in time. However, we can't even get that right. You see? But we have to get this killing under some type of control, because if not, we're doomed. They're already doing population control, and we are helping them depopulate the earth by killing ourselves. And if you young black men, you mothers who are out there, know what your child is in that street is doing. I know that you went into your child room and probably didn't found guns. You probably didn't found drugs. But you don't tell them about it because you need that money to keep coming. Just like people who don't want to clean up the community and get rid of this drug man is because they're on drugs and they don't want to miss their fix. They don't want to get rid of that drug that's keeping them under the influence of a demonic entity. They don't want to stop that. House. No screws. A couple of crayons missing from the box. I'm trying to see what you all saying in this chat room, but I got notifications coming up here. I thank everybody that's out there in the chat room. Appreciate that, fam. So yeah, that's my take on that. Like I said, you can press that subscribe button at any time during this video. It don't cost you one red penny. Not a thing. Just press the button. Appreciate that, family. We have to stop making these children foster kids. We have to get off the drugs and stop being junkies. We have to see ourselves as value. If Black Lives Matter, why is it that you have all of these black women on Instagram naked, showing the world their body versus showing the world their brain? Can you tell me that? You got artists in the industry, black artists in the industry. They are. I don't have to say no specific names because all of them the same. And every time you see the black woman in the video, you got her doing what? Popping and shaking her ass. And she's on Instagram showing her naked self, sucking dick online. And you want to talk about Black Lives Matter. And now, like I said, I'm not talking about that gay shit. We're not talking about that. We're talking about real black men and women. That them transgenders are not real people. They are. But don't get under the misconception that Black Lives Matter mean that all Black lives matter, because they're not talking about all black people. They're talking about gay black people. And if you go to their website and look at what they are about, you will see what their mission is. You don't have to believe me. Just go to their website. But anyway, you all, I'm going to get out of here. I got some things to do. I hope that something that I said helped you in some kind of way to talk to your cousins, to your nieces, to your sons, to your daughters. And you have to place in their minds that Black lives do matter. In fact, all life matter. All life matter. All life matters. See, I'm talking about real Black lives. Y'all talking about those Black lives. I'm talking about these Black lives. You know, there's a distinction, and you have to make a distinction so that you won't be misguided. It's your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher. Don't drink and drive. Stay away from the popo. Stop killing yourself. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. Stop the killing. And while all of this killing is going on, where's the Nation of Islam? Where's the Nation of Islam? I get these notifications about what they're doing every Sunday. World Premier Nation of Islam. You got Ishmael standing up there talking about the minister. And how, look, even the minister, Ishmael, is telling the people to worship Louis Farrakhan. When Louis Farrakhan, okay, you're telling them the importance of Farrakhan versus the message. They don't need Islam. They need the message. Check this out. Former FOI right here. Former FOI. For years. For years. Anybody that know me, know I'm not lying. When I was in the Nation of Islam, I was a junior minister for the Nation of Islam. You can remove the Islam and just go with the core teachings of Elijah Muhammad. In fact, every Black man in America should read or get that book entitled Message to the Black Man by Elijah Muhammad. Every Black man and woman should read that book or know that history, just like they know who George Washington is, just like they know Abraham Lincoln is, just like they know about Thomas Jefferson and the Gettysburg Address. That book, The Message of the Black Man, is a absolute, what they call that? Prerequisite for your development as a person, as a whole, as a unit. It's your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher. Oh, by the way, I'll do that on the next video. But this is your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher. You all stop the killing, Chicago. Stop the killing. They are already pulling out guns on us in St. Louis. Okay? Protesters, peaceful protesters, were marching to the mayor's house. The mayor of St. Louis was marching to her house, and going to her house, these peaceful protesters were, or tried to be, they tried to be intimidated by a white lawyer with his wife, and I think she's a lawyer too. He had an assault rifle and she had a side firearm pointed, aiming at the protesters. These protesters are not bothering them. However, show you, Black people, that they are waiting to shoot you, to kill you. You wanted the police defunded? And if these are your actions after screaming for injustice, that they will do just to get rid of you and let you kill yourself. Don't you see that? Because it's obvious that you can't patrol your own neighborhood. You don't have sense enough to even stop killing yourself when the world is killing us. I'm going to say that again. Black people here in Chicago and across America have no sense enough to stop killing themselves while the world is killing us. Seems like a no-win situation. If you got somebody out there who is working to help uplift you, because when you uplift a person who is down in the gutter, who is in a demonic state of being, it's hard to uplift them. And when you do get uplifted from the wilderness of North America, don't go back. Because when you go back into the jungle, it's going to be worse. America has become a zoo. We're living in a zoo. Are you going to be a bear, tiger, orangutan, lion? What are you going to do? What are you going to be? And you cannot protect your children or give them proper information if you don't have any sense yourself of how to survive in the jungle. In fact, Black people have been surviving since slavery, okay? We've just been surviving. Now, granted, you have some Black people who live now because there are more Black millionaires than there has ever been. There has never, in the annals of history here in America, have Black people have so much money as they do. And I'm talking about entertainers and athletes. But we can't get it together. And you know what? It's going to get worse because they're not going to help us. And if we don't stop the killing, the only Black people will be left is the athletes and entertainers. And I want to tell you something else. Words of the master teacher, Mother Fresh Francis Wellesley. White people are not killing you just to be killing you. According to the master teacher, which we already know, that by nature, they don't like you. By nature, they are your open enemy. By nature. Nature did that. However, their reason for continuously slaughtering us is for genetic survival. Y'all think about that. Press that subscribe button. It's your brother, the 13th letter to the cipher. Thanks for viewing.